Welcome to another episode of Best of Three. I'm your host, Efren Salinas, and with me as always is Michael Donka Schiller. Tonight on the show, we got a big one. I don't know if you guys heard, but Final Round is coming up this weekend.
I hadn't heard.
You hadn't heard, but you're showing up, bro.
I booked my ticket a little late, I guess.
Fair enough. We will have Mr. Dixon Shin Blanka here to talk about Final Round. We'll also have, I don't know if you've heard of this guy. He's new on the scene.
New
on the scene if you're a 2016er. Infiltration. Infiltration
Isn't that
is on
a bot online?
There is a Razer Infiltration bot. It's hilarious, man. I saw some post about it, and somebody was saying, man, Infiltration's footsies are on point. And somebody was like, that's the bot Infiltration. Anyway, we'll talk to him about that and many more things. But first, we are joined by, as always, our panel, Steve Ace King Offsuit Jurek. There he is. And John Velociraptor Guerrero of Event Hub's fame and nothing else. Just kidding, man. I'm sorry. I mean, I know that there's this guy named Mark Underhill who did really well against Snake Eyes back in the day, but that has nothing to do with you. So
no, Mark was a Velociraptor super fan.
Oh, that's what it was. John, can you shed some light on your super fan, Mark Underhill?
Oh, I didn't actually watch the archive of last week, but I heard that there was some guy that called in talking about me. But, there's so many that do that. I get so much fan email and such that they all kind of blend together. And I try to go through them all, but, I mean, you guys know how it is. It's well, you probably don't know how it is, but just believe me, it's rough. So, I'm trying to get to it. But.
And how disappointed are people when they realize that they reached out to you instead of Seth Killian, which is who they were trying to reach?
Oh, funny guy, friend. I appreciate it, yeah.
We got a show to do, guys. We're going to talk about the Capcom Pro Tour to start it off. There was a hiatus here, a couple of weekends where we didn't have a Capcom Pro Tour event, but Final Round is coming around the corner. But first, where have we been? Steve, Ace King Offsuit, talk to me a little bit about what's been going on in the Capcom Pro Tour thus far.
Well, we've only had one event so far. It was Cannes Clash. It was added to the tour late, so where Final Round was announced as the first event of the season back at Capcom Cup in December, they didn't announce that Cannes was actually going to open the tour till very late January. So because of that, there wasn't nearly as much of an international presence as you saw last year. It was primarily a European event. There were a couple of people who made it out, like Gutex, Big Bird, and
Kindefu, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was interesting, though. I mean, you did see Gutex out there, so, I mean, he got word, and he was like, yes, next flight, I'm there, which is pretty cool. But I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Steve.
Oh, it's okay. It's all good. I'm a team player here.
Appreciate it, man. So, but you were telling us, points have been handed out already.
Yes. And the bulk of the points went to a guy named Mr. Crimson. If you're not in the European scene, you probably didn't know who this guy was until a couple weeks ago. But he is a guy, he's called the Sonic Fox of France.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
He's an 18-year-old guy, wonder kid. He was tearing up Guilty Gear, made the jump into Street Fighter V once it came out, and he's sitting on top of the heap right now. Him and he beat Phenom in the finals. So
can I say something about this guy, though?
No, you can't.
No, moving on.
I'm doing it anyway. Oh, you guys are such dicks.
John, yes, of course.
One prank call, but I'm sorry. Remind me of his full name again.
Mr. Crimson.
Mr. Crimson. All right, sounds like a Viper player, man. No, but it's awesome that he won. It's awesome that he won, and he obviously shows you've got to have at least some amount of talent to take a major, like, kind of win or clash, whatever it is. I shouldn't. But anyways, I'll be hyped for him. I will acknowledge him as perhaps the next, European Sonic Fox or something like that, if he can do it again. But Street Fighter V, so young, so new. People are getting away with crazy stuff. People have been saying in my little circles and such, like, oh man, this is the next dude that's going to be amazing at Street Fighter V. I'm like, I want to wait just a minute before I grant him that kind of status. You know what I'm saying?
But Phenom is a very good player, and he lost to Mr. Crimson. What do you say to that?
Why haven't we seen Mr. Crimson before this?
You mentioned sounds like a C Viper name. If I'm not mistaken, he is a C Viper player from Street Fighter 4. Again, a lot of people are saying this. The character they were playing in 4 was holding them back. They've always been this good. Now in 5, they're getting to show their stuff.
And Viper, one of the characters that made it to second place at EVO, was...
okay, you know what? That's a good point. All right, John. I didn't know you were going to use logic.
I agree with John to the extent that we have no idea exactly how good this guy will be, but I'm of the belief that he'll probably stick around in the upper echelons of, at the very least, Europe, and probably somewhere if he's able to win the first major tournament. That being said, is he Daigo yet? Definitely not. Or is he Sonic Fox yet? I would still say definitely not. You know, Sonic Fox has won EVOs in multiple games, so...
John?
We'll see.
Yeah, I want to say that I don't have. This is kind of coming across against like I have something negative to say about this particular player. I don't. All I know about him is that he's won a major. So all of my empirical research points to that he's great. But I'm just saying that it's too early for the community to start saying this person's amazing and this person's not. Even at the point of like a major, the first major on the Pro Tour. I think we need to wait a little while before we start jumping over to like, you know, to making these big kind of decisions and determinations of who's good, who's not, what's amazing, what isn't.
And obviously that's part of why Final Round is such a big deal. Is it's going to be the first super major Capcom Pro Tour event, and also the first one where multiple scenes are really going to come together on a bigger level. I don't remember the exact list of names, but Infiltration's coming over with a whole crew of people from Asia.
Yeah, let me run down that list.
I think you have that list right here, yeah.
It's Infiltration on his stream yesterday said that he's coming, Xian is coming, Kazunoko's coming. What you're seeing on the screen are the current standings. What I find interesting about this, but let me just finish rattling off this list. Infiltration, Xian, Kazunoko, Mago, Tokido, Bonchan, maybe Haitani. And he also said that he's going to stick around and go to North Cal Regionals. But back to that, the tournament, the standings there, I wanted to bring that up. Will, could you throw that back up? Steve, last year, for Capcom Pro Tour last year, we started to hear if you're hitting around the 200, 180 bubble of points, you're set. Talk to me about that in this instance here, because 128 is a nice chunk of points.
It is a very nice chunk of points. Also, the win is a good sign for him, because if you look at the entire tour last year, everyone who won an event that awarded points qualified for Capcom Cup. So that's a good sign for him. However, this year, obviously with many more events, it's going to be a much different animal. So to say that, you know, he's close to in, he's in very good shape. Obviously, he's number one in the world until Sunday, but he's still got some work to do, and it's probably going to be a good chunk of work to do. He might need to win another event. He might need to get to 220, 230. It will all depend on how much gatekeeping goes down inside the European scene.
And it's very interesting because the regional divide makes that an even greater question, because in South America, per se, not as many people travel to those tournaments internationally. If you win early points in South America, I would say you're much more likely to do well than you are if you win early points in Asia or North America. Europe is kind of in between. They didn't see nearly as much international presence, but Asian players being in closer proximity than they are to North America did go to Europe in droves last year. So yes, he could easily still be knocked out with, you know, a jillion tournaments to go.
Sure. So go ahead.
And the other thing is with the gatekeeping, are we going to see someone like Luffy dominate as much as he hit? Because even though he didn't do all that well this, I want to say this weekend, but this was almost 3 weeks ago at this point. Even though he finished tied for 33rd, he didn't make it out of his pools. Last year, he got 25th at Cairns, and then he won the next 6 ranking events he won. If that happens this year, then you've got a situation where 2 people are going to qualify via points in the European zone, with someone taking up so much of the points. You might have someone with 130, 140 points qualify in Europe, whereas it might take 200 to qualify in North America or Asia.
It's going to be interesting to see. I thought that when they announced that there would be regional leaderboards, that might dissuade people from traveling. But now that I think of it, it would be a terrible idea not to take advantage of that. If there's a tournament and it's a premier tournament, you should travel. So when I hear that, you know, Infiltration, Xian, and all these guys are coming, I'm like, damn, they have the potential, of course, to take it from one of the American boys. And that's the competition, right?
I do think the schedule has been slightly interesting. Like, you have 2 premier events, not ranking events in America, one week after another across the coast from each other. I think that could have been planned out a little better.
You think that since there's so much weight on a premier win, that they should space those out?
Yes, 100%. To have the two of the few that are in America, the premiers are spread out among all 4 regions. To have 2 of the ones that are in America right next to each other, like weekend to weekend, I think you're going to have people who are good at the game right now clock up a whole bunch of points in these 2 weeks.
Interesting.
Now, at the same time, as Steve said, people who did well continue to do well. That's kind of a trend in Street Fighter. I'm not worried about it, but you're definitely going to have people rack up a lot of points in these 2 weeks.
I'm excited to see it. Both you and John will be at Final Round. What are you guys looking forward to, other than winning the tournament yourselves, I would imagine? What are you guys expecting?
I've been to Final Round once 2 years ago. I got top 8 in Marvel.
All right.
Placings. Final Round is amazing because it's definitely not central. It's very much so Southeast Coast, but it is very widely traveled to. It's obviously, for a while, it was the second biggest event. I think CEO has superseded it recently, but it's a tournament where you're going to see every name. The pools are huge. You get to play a bunch of good people from the Southeast that you wouldn't get to play otherwise in a lot of tournaments that can't travel as far. And I mean, there's Spawn Divots, the amazing restaurant near the venue. Just everything about Final Round is very much so its own and unemulatable at other tournaments, in my opinion, that I've been to. So, I mean, I'm going on Thursday and coming back on Tuesday. I've allotted more than the weekend to this tournament, so I'm looking forward to it a lot.
John?
I will say this, there are a lot of East Coast tournaments and a lot of places to go to, but Final Round, this will be my 3rd year in a row. My first year going is when I think I've done the best in an out-of-state tournament when I got top 8 in Street Fighter 4. But that's not really the reason that I'm going back each year. It's because it's been the most fun. I mean, it's right up there. It's in contention with CEO, and I would almost say Evo, although Evo also has, the whole of Las Vegas surrounding it, so there's that. But Final Round is an amazing time, and I'd like to take this moment, since you brought it up, to ask Blanka if he'd go on a Spondivits date with me.
I would... After we split top 2, we'll definitely go, right, John?
Yeah, we can use our winnings. I don't know if you like shellfish and seafood and stuff, but I'm sure they have burgers if you don't. It'll be a good time. We'll have a beer. It'll be great.
Are you guys going to drink your beer like cross arms and, you
just
pour
like
into
Seth
his mouth?
Killian does.
Exactly. There you go, man. Guys, before we change the topic, we only have one other thing to talk about before we close out the panel, but I want to hear some predictions. I like Snake Eyes for Final Round.
I definitely like him to be very high in the results. He's shown a perfect record, I think, so far in tournaments. And he plays a character that, we talked about this with him on the show last week, very few other people are playing at a high level. I like every single foreign player in attendance because that's just kind of how I am. And I like at least one of the 2 major Dawson players, Arturo or F-Champ, to do very well for the same reason as Zangief.
It's going to be an exciting tournament. Steve, who do you like, man?
I don't know if I can predict anybody. What I'm really excited to see is not just the U.S. versus the international angle, but the old guard versus the new guard. In Cannes Winter Clash, you had 3 guys, either 18 or 19 years old, make top 8. And that was Phenom, Mr. Crimson, and Big Bird. I want to see. We haven't really seen too many of the old big names like the Justins, the Rickies, the PR Rogs in live tournament action yet. I want to see if they can hold on to their spot, or if some of these new guys on the come up are able to usurp some of that.
They've been. We'll get to you, of course, John. But they've been training in secret, I guess, because I don't see Justin Wong on stream. We haven't seen him in tournaments.
I think he's been streaming on his own stream, but he went to that Wizard World tournament. I think he might have won it. I'm not even positive, but he hasn't been traveling. He didn't go to Winter Brawl. As I said, there's been no tournaments. How do you know? And there's
well, that's what I'm saying. But
Wednesday night fights, next level battle circuit, Winter Brawl. That's what you've seen.
But I've seen Ricky playing her Chun on stream, and so it seems like you're getting a taste of what people are doing. I feel like there's some players like PR Rog and Justin Wong that I haven't seen much of.
Not as much of, and they've definitely been grinding it out secretly. Yes, I will promise you that.
John, who do you think? Who do you like, other than you or Blanka, to win this tournament?
Well, I think it's something like there's over 800 participants already confirmed, something like that. It's ridiculous. You guys already went with the super safe answers of Snake Eyes and the foreign players, but and if I can't say myself, then I don't know. But to go safe, probably someone like Shen or even Infiltration. Not even, but
You can't
or
bust
Infiltration.
us for making safe predictions and then not make a. And
You
then make a
used
safe
all the
one.
name. Like, what other name am I going to pull out? This is like as someone that you didn't say.
Obviously, L.I. Joe did win the
L.I.
first
Joe,
American tournament.
I don't know if Forward is going, but he has been a final round before. I'm pretty sure our homeboy Hamad will be there. You know, there's plenty of other people who are really good with their characters that haven't really shown anything. You don't think Hamad will take it, John? Why are you laughing?
This is because he's your homeboy, and that's funny to me. No, I love Hamad, but I'm going to say not Hamad to take it. No, but I said all that earlier to kind of get to this. A lot of the times we've seen players once they get to tournaments like final round. It's just such a big stage, big deal tournament with a lot on the line. That's the point where you see them and they've gone through all of their matchups, all of their training mode, and that's where they start to shine and show you what they're capable of. At this point, we have seen Justin Wong and PR Rog and Infiltration and all these players just feeling stuff out. You know, we've seen Daigo stream as he begins to learn the game, but we haven't seen these guys play in tournament mode yet. And a lot of people have been saying things like, oh, they're not looking all that hot. Oh, they're not looking all that great. They're looking kind of like what I'd look like when I play. But these guys, I guarantee you, at a tournament like final round, we're going to see their polished top level play. And it's going to be probably different than anything we've seen in their Street Fighter V gameplay thus far. So I think that looking at final round, watching this tournament, seeing the results is going to be the first major indicator of how our year in Street Fighter V is going to go. Even more so than the tournaments in the Capcom Pro Tour that have already happened. I think final round is that very first one that people have been really training for, where they're really going to bring out all the stops and we're going to see some amazing gameplay. So until after final round, I don't know, dude. It's like you can take the names that have done really well in the past. You can take the guys that have won a tournament or two. But I think this is going to be the first place where you can actually pull out your measuring stick and start to see and get a feel for what Street Fighter V is like.
John, do you travel with a measuring stick?
That's what they call it.
I don't even know.
And the interesting follow-up to that is obviously, will the winner of final round, assuming they travel across the country for NCR, do equally as well there?
Okay, this is something I always fall back on, or I always think about. The competitor spirit will say no to this, but if you win a premier event, why not just chill and just practice and watch what everybody else does? Okay, so if you win a premier event this year, you're in. But getting second behind someone who won the next time does not grant you it, right? It doesn't start to fall down the list. Steve,
Steve would know, I'm sure.
Did they change that rule?
They did change it. So for premier events, if the person who wins that tournament has already qualified for Capcom Cup, that spot goes to global points.
Wow. Okay.
But for ranking events, in determining who goes to the regional finals, it does still go down the list.
Okay.
Interesting.
Well,
okay.
The reason you don't stop is obviously the practice is more important than saving tech this early, at least this early in the game. Maybe if there was like a month left until Capcom Cup and you had some secret setup you wouldn't want to show, maybe I would chill. But even then, practice plus the potential money of winning the event, I think it supersedes the idea of saving stuff for nationals in a 1-month-old game.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Gentlemen, last week it was announced that Riot Games had bought Radiant Entertainment, the makers of several games, but most notably Rising Thunder. We talked about it on the show last week, but we didn't have y'all's opinions on the matter. What do you think is going to happen? Are they making a fighting game? And if so, what could that potentially do? Let's speculate for a second on how the landscape of fighting games and esports within fighting games could change as a result. John, I'm going to start with you, buddy.
Yeah. So I had kind of a lengthy conversation about this with my bosses when it first happened, and we talked about it. We dialogued a little bit, and what we kind of came to was that you've got Seth Killian and the Cannons are basically the big names in the fighting game community that Riot has kind of picked up, that they now have at their disposal to create something new. And we know that they are creating something new. But to go as far as to say that it's going to be a new fighting game would be amazing, but I don't think we have any evidence that that's going to be the case. fighting games are probably these three people's strongest suit. You know, they could deliver on that, but they're smart guys. They're quick. They're able to do what needs to be done. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's not a fighting game that comes out. It would be, like I said, amazing if Riot makes a fighting game, but I'm not going to sit here and hold my breath until we've got a little more evidence in that direction.
Wait a second though. I see a little bit of evidence for them doing a fighting game. When Riot put out the press release announcing it, they mentioned three people by name. They mentioned the Cannons, and they mentioned Seth Killian specifically. Why not mention anyone else on that development team if they weren't trying to bring up their relationship with fighting games? Also, when they talked about Rising Thunder, Radiant didn't say that the game was canceled. They said the test was over. So what I'm thinking is, honestly, to me, I do feel like they're coming out with a fighting game that is going to be very, very, maybe not very much in the same vein as Rising Thunder, where the emphasis is less on inputs and execution, because that is seen as a big hindrance for a lot of people coming over. And if it's something like a reskinned Rising Thunder with people from League of Legends in it, that tells me that there is a huge potential for crossover. So you want to cater to that new audience as much as possible, as opposed to what you would do for a different fighting game.
It obviously fits well. I mean, League of Legends already has, 4 special moves mapped to cooldowns, very similarly to Rising Thunder.
Exactly like Rising Thunder.
I think you could... obviously, they're not going to copy-paste it, but the basis for creating it's there. People think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. I don't know.
I would like to see it. I would play it. I have asked League of Legends players if they would play it, and they said yes, and they think that a lot of the... obviously, you wouldn't get League of Legends numbers, not even, a quarter of it, but that a lot of people would, because they'd see their favorite character. Gentlemen, that's all we have. Is there anything we missed that you'd like to say before we say goodbye to our illustrious panel?
I want to say thank you to Mark Underhill II. Sounded like a great guy last week. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get in touch with you, but please call back if you get a chance.
Who was this guy? I didn't get a chance to watch the archive, but
Mark Underhill II. He was very, very intelligent. Sounded like he was a very handsome man. I don't know what else to say. He sounded like the perfect person.
You guys are really funny. I apologize that I didn't even mention that you weren't on the show last week, but I'm glad that your representatives were featured in calls.
We were with you in spirit, and that's the important thing. So,
Well, we're happy to have you back this week, and we look forward to talking to you next week, especially post-final round.
And we have 2 callers this week, right? The first of 2 guests.
We have 2 guests that we need to get to. So first, let's say goodbye to John and Steve. Later, guys. We'll see you next week. Yes, we have Shin Blanka, who's going to be our first guest. He was actually going to be at the top of the show, but the guy's in the middle. I mean, he's planning final round, right?
I'm sure he's picking up people from the airport.
He's picking up people from the airport. He was in traffic. He said, can you give me 10 more minutes? So we just said we're going to do it with the panel first. But we are in the process of getting a hold of him so that we can ask him some questions about final round. I would imagine there's a ton of pressure involved with not only hosting a tournament of this magnitude, hosting a tournament of this magnitude that's a Capcom Pro Tour premiere event with a new game out.
And obviously this tournament was around way before the numbers were this big. This tournament was around way before Capcom got involved with helping out in the tournaments. And it was around when, the number of games and number of entrants was a lot smaller. So, it's interesting to grow with the years and not quit at it. He's continued to do it despite the leap in viewership and the leap in entrance and the leap in time. It's obviously going to take him to run the event as a whole, which we will talk about right now.
Mr. Dixon, are you there? Can we hear you?
Yes, I'm here. How you guys doing?
We're doing great, man. Were you able to pick up one of your staff members from the airport?
Yeah, I got my man Dan, a.k.a. Jax, right here beside me.
Hey, way to go. I hope you're not still driving in traffic. When I asked you, or when I told you that it was a video, you were like, well, I don't think that cops like it when you drive around doing Skype video from your phone. So, Larry, let's start here. Is there more pressure this year? I'm imagining this is an obvious answer, but let's just kick it off with this. Is there more pressure involved with doing a premiere event?
I don't think so. I think we've been doing this so long that I think that's kind of why Capcom sought us out to be a premier event, because we do great events, and they wanted to partner up with us to have the best available, event to kick off the season. So no real pressure about it. The real pressure is seeing that I doubled my attendance in Street Fighter from last year to this year. That's the real pressure.
Well, what's the number on there? What's the number of entrants for Street Fighter V? How many did you get?
Okay, so last year our total was around 475 for Ultra.
Okay, 475 you said?
Yes, 475 last year.
Okay.
For Ultra. The CPT started off. That was the second biggest CPT event last year outside of Evolution.
Oh, wow.
This year we have over 800 plus, and that was before we added our volunteers and stuff.
Wow.
I just had to go ahead and cap it at 1024. So we're going to see how many people come. If we get an abundance of people, we may, extend it. But right now, I'm just looking at 10. We're going to reach that cap most likely.
Okay.
So I've easily got at least 200 people at the door before.
Now, this is final round 19. Have you been doing it 19 years?
Yes.
Wow. Look back with us here for our audience.
I wonder what the first games were at final round 1.
All right.
Yeah.
Final round 1 technically wasn't called final round. It was an arcade, a local event in Atlanta. When I used to play, I was pretty decent, and I just basically wanted to beat on everybody in the city, so I just started. We had Super Turbo. We had Third Strike. We had, I think it was Tekken Tag. I think Tekken Tag was out then. And the last game escapes me. I can't remember. The last game escaped, but it was all in arcade.
Larry,
that was out.
Larry, when you look back, can you believe how much has changed in those 19 years? I mean, to think that you have 800 entrants for a Street Fighter V tournament and that there's this whole tournament structure around it and the Capcom Pro Tour. I mean, do you ever sit and think about that?
I sit back and look at the growth of the FGC a lot, from its infancy to, I had it at a friend's house, and my wife was cooking food for people, to having, basically selling out 2 hotels and probably more than that, just around my area, taking over 31,000 square foot of ballroom space in a, it's amazing to me, the growth that we've seen over the past 7 years. Has been a really huge jump
since Street Fighter 4 launched. You mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Now the news is that pools are running from 8 a.m. to midnight on Saturday, right? For Street Fighter 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Is there any specifics?
Yeah.
Is there a number of pools that are going to be there? Or 4 going to make it out, or 2 going to make it out? Can you shed any light on that?
Oh, we're just going to go up until the top 128. After that, 128 will be played on Sunday, leading up into the top 8.
Okay.
Right.
So we actually need to do that to make sure that we get to a reasonable amount, instead of having, one 512-man bracket on one day and one 512-man bracket on the other day.
Wow. That's nuts. Larry, I have a question for you. Can you confirm or deny that there will be an Alex reveal trailer played at Final Round?
I can't confirm it. I don't have any word on anything. Scouts on it.
Oh, no, that's totally fair. But regardless, I have a follow-up question for you. You won't have to worry about making this decision because there won't be any new characters out before Final Round.
Although he did for MKXL.
That's right. And you guys, if I'm not mistaken, you guys did officially announce that all the Mortal Kombat X latest DLC characters will be played or allowable at Final Round. How do you feel about that? And if Alex had just dropped this Tuesday, would you have allowed him at the tournament? How do you deal with that?
Well, first we had people that wanted in the NRS community, Picture My Community. They asked me, hey, are you going to allow it? I was like, well, you guys make a poll, and I'll look at it and see how it winds up. Initially, I was going to say, no, I don't want to, allow characters or characters that are new to the game. But I was thinking this was just going to be a regular patch with new characters, Hey, here's season 3 or season 2 of these characters. And the game's going to stay the same. But come to find out that this game is supposed to be the transition from, we say, super to ultra or something like that, So when you get into that, you have balance changes from all different type of characters from the original cast. Also, you have the new characters. So really, you're playing a new game. You're playing a new game, and it seemed like consensus was everyone wanted to play XL.
Yeah.
Nobody is saying, no, I just want to play X. All right. So if everyone wants to play XL, then play XL.
Well, there
Now,
you
in
go.
the past, when Self was released in Street Fighter 4, I banned Self. And, that came with a very unpopular vote. And I've been thinking about it, that in the past, I was just like, you know what? He really wasn't that bad. He was good, even though come find out he was kind of bad. But anyway, I banned him without letting people explore with him because that version of Street Fighter was coming out just before final round. So I said, you know what? If that kind of happens again, and if it's at least, 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks, something like that, then I was like, okay, well, it's a new game. It's technically a new game, even though it's still part of the same series. I'll let it rock. You guys find out. I can't. It's pretty much you're screwed anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You don't allow it, then it's just like, those results don't count because you didn't allow it. You do allow it, everything was broken. So,
Yeah, for the record, I totally
play
agree.
the new game, play the new game.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
it.
Larry, we don't want to keep you too much because I know you're super busy and you're running around and getting things ready for this weekend, and we want to make sure that goes off without a hitch, and I don't want to be blamed if one staff member didn't get picked up from the airport. So is there anything else you want to point us to? Where can we watch it? When can we watch it? Of course, Event Hubs and SureYouCan.com and other sites will have that information, but any last plugs that you want to give?
All right. I just like to thank you guys for letting me on and talk about final round 19th year.
Hey, we appreciate you coming on.
Be a spectacular.
Well, there you go. Cool.
Oh, okay. I'll talk to you.
No, I'm sorry. It's because you were breaking out a little bit.
We'll be on, of course, Capcom Fighters will handle the CPT in its entirety. We'll have Team Spooky be our mainstream. He'll be streaming various games, Marvel, Tekken, DOA, Mortal Kombat. He'll be streaming various games. Then we have Mortal Kombat stream, Combat Network. They'll be streaming majority of Mortal Kombat. We have Smash Studios doing all our Smash events. 649 doing various things, anime, Tekken 7 also. So yeah, we got an action-packed weekend going. We'll have some.
That's an understatement.
Tekken 7 going there. Of course, CPT. There's everything. Everything people love about the FGC will be at final round. If you can attend, please watch the streams on Twitch. They should be promoting that tomorrow with all our channels. Well, stay tuned. Enjoy yourself. Sit back. Enjoy the show.
Mr. Larry Shin Blanka Dixon, thank you so much for your time, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you guys for having me. Have a great day.
All right. So the show's not over yet. We have our very special guest, Infiltration. I don't know if you guys ever heard about him. He will be on. We're going to dial him up. But first, a musical interlude while you wait.
And singing, because I'm Infiltration.
We certainly hope you enjoyed that musical interlude provided by none other than our upcoming guest, Infiltration. I want to remind everybody a couple of things. One, if you like what you're seeing, please give us a follow. If you're feeling generous, give us a sub. It means a lot to us and, make my bosses happy.
It's definitely interesting to me because when I first time I saw Infiltration, it was like, I think Evo 2009 or 10 with the beanie on, not saying a word. I just thought he was some cold-hearted Akuma killer. And then to see that he's actually a musical
came
superstar.
Out of the show. Yeah, obviously, yes. The other thing I want to remind you guys is that this is a call-in show. Now, when we have guests like this, like last week with Snake Eyes, the calls roll in so hot and heavy that we can't always get to them. So we apologize if we don't get to your call tonight, but you can always tweet at us or write your question in the chat and we'll get to it. I believe we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty with their cameras, but Infiltration, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, there he is. Infiltration. If people don't call you Infiltration, what should they call you? Is it Sean? Is that an Americanized way to call you?
Okay, you can call me Sean or Infiltration or Mr. Sexy, anything.
Let's go with Mr. Sexy. What do you say? No?
Thank you.
We're still waiting for your camera to roll up, but Mr. Sexy.
Yes.
How are you feeling? I understand it's quite early in the morning in the future over there.
Yeah, it's time to 8, almost 9 a.m. in Korea. So I'm just tired, sleepy.
What time do you usually go to bed, man? We see you getting on those streams and going for hours.
Mm-hmm.
What time do you usually get to bed?
4 a.m.
Well, that'll explain it. That'll make you sleepy at 8 in the morning for sure.
Yes, you're right.
So, Infiltration, we have some questions for you, as well as, of course, we have the call. The calls are already coming in, but I wanted to start off with this. The most recent esports development in your life, which was last year, was the getting picked up by Razer. If I'm not mistaken, you got a new pad, you got a new apartment out of it, and your life looks like it took a bit of a turn there. Can you tell us about how life has changed since you were picked up by Team Razer?
해석 부탁드립니다.
네, 레이저 픽업된 후 이제 아파트도 새로 얻고 하셨는데 레이저에서 픽업하신 후에 인생이 어떻게 바뀌셨는지.
레이저가 제 인생에 날개를 달아줬죠. 그리고 이제 방송을 위해서 트위치하고 또 새로운 방송을 위해서 이사도 서울에서 공항 근처로 이사도 했기 때문에 좀 더 여러분들한테 방송이라든가 레이저 선수로서 여러 가지 모습을 보여드리기 위해서 쉽게 다가갈 수 있을 것 같아요.
So being picked up by Razer has pretty much provided me wings. I've moved to a venue. It's near the airport, so that it'll help greatly for my international travels.
So anybody who's watching who might be a little bit confused about what just happened down, Infiltration brought along a helper, a friend from XSplit, community manager, who is helping him translate. So that's what happened there. So you're saying, did I hear correctly that you said that Infiltration said that he got wings?
That is correct. That is the actual words he said.
I think you might be getting those a little bit confused. It's a little bit late for that, Razer. But so that's awesome. So they actually moved you closer to the airport so you could travel to these places easier? Or to travel to tournaments?
레이저가 아파트를 이동하게 도와준 건지 아니면은 직접 선택하신 건지.
제가 직접 했어요. 스트리트 파이터 5 나올 때쯤에 이동하려고 생각했는데 마침 운 좋게 이제 공항 근처에 자리를 잡았습니다.
Well, Razer did help out in a way, but not directly, so that that made the decision to move the apartments. But I was already looking for an apartment myself, so that I could do streaming and other activities. And thankfully, it's closer to the airport, so that it'll be much more convenient.
I imagine you're happy. It sounds like it's a pretty good deal.
굉장히 좋은 딜 같아서 저희도 기쁩니다.
Thank you.
I have a video here that I wanted to play. I don't know if you remember this. Do you still have this card that you won from the Street Fighter Cross Tekken 25th anniversary tournament?
이 차가 아직도 있으신지.
No. A few years ago, I'm sorry, guys. I sold it.
You sold it?
Yeah.
But how many? I mean, you could have
with
picked
the
up
Capcom Bender and every. Wow, man,
that's rough. You know what? Okay, you sold it. That's cool. But do you remember? I mean, do you ever think back? Because I feel like
did he ever drive it?
There you go. Did you ever drive it?
운전은 해보셨는지?
Yes, just 1 year.
There you go. But my question is, do you ever think back to? I mean, because around that time was when America really started to root for you and like you, and you had a bunch of close matches in that Street Fighter 25th anniversary tournament series against Daigo. And do you feel like there was a post-popularity and pre-popularity shift in your life, other than recently getting signed by Razer?
이제 그 차 상품은 타셨을 때 이제 그때쯤 이제 인기를 얻으셨는데 그때부터 인기를 실감하셨는지 아니면은 그냥 쭉 같은 인기를 갖고 계신지.
일단 한국에서는 역시 좀 슬픈 얘기지만 아무도 몰라요. 한국에서는 아무도 몰랐고 제가 에보하고 25주년 대회를 우승해서 차를 탔다라는 뉴스가 조금 나가긴 했지만 결국에 아름 사람들만 알았지 전 세계적으로 알지는 못했고, 그리고 뭐 미국이라든가 다른 나라를 갈 때는 많이 알아봐 주셔서 되게 고마웠어요.
So unfortunately, within my local area, nobody was really interested when I won the car and all the tournaments I've been to. But thankfully, most of the foreign FGC communities have taken notice of me. So at least when I travel to overseas tournaments, I feel the popularity definitely has increased.
Well, that's good to know. And certainly you do have a lot of American fans and, worldwide fans. We have Mr. Sexy. We have a call for you. Are you ready to take a call from our audience?
이제 전화 연결 질문이 있을 겁니다.
We have Dr. KO on the line. Dr. KO, we can hear you. Go ahead with your question for Infiltration.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, Mr. Infiltration.
That's Mr.
You are
Sexy.
one of my favorite players.
Yeah, Dr.
Hey,
KO.
Mr. Sexy. Mr. Sexy, but for real, one of the best Street Fighter players ever. I just have something to, I want to run by you guys. So Street Fighter 5 as a whole, I mean, there's so many great things coming up for the game. There's this great event coming up. You have this great player over here, Infiltration. I think Street Fighter 5 as a whole is just a great thing all around. But I think that seeing all these reviews, all the shit that was said about this game, leading up to now, like, hold on, I have notes here. I have information here. So, I think that these reviews of Street Fighter V has scared the community, because I know a whole bunch of people that look at these tournaments, right, final rounds coming up, look at players like Infiltration, and they say, oh, I want to get into Street Fighter V, but then they go on Amazon, they look at these one-star reviews for the game, and it's like, guys, this game is a real good game, as you can see from the community, right? As you can see from these shows that we have. But of course, we have all these reviews on the internet that are just stopping all these influx of new people coming into the game. And I just think that needs to be addressed.
Okay, so let's ask Infiltration what he thinks about that failed launch. Infiltration, what do you think? So the game came out, it got a lot of bad press. Some of us in the community think that'll be a distant memory one day, but there's a potential that they missed an opportunity to get a lot more people early. Your thoughts on that?
네, 그 스파 5 나오고 이제 좀 약간 현실적으로 부정적인 면이 리뷰가 많이 있었는데 이제 GC는 이제 그게 빨리 지나갔으면 좋겠다고 생각하는 면도 있는데 자민님 생각은 어떠신지?
스트리트 파이터 5가 나오고서 당연히 말들이 많은데 개인적으로 뭐 스트리트 파이터 5의 팬으로서 게임 컨텐츠가 조금 부족한 건 아쉽지만 생각보다 게임 자체는 굉장히 재밌게 잘 만들어졌다고 생각해서 기분이 좋아요. 그리고 저번에 칸 윈터 크래시도 보셨으면 아시겠지만 프로 선수들 사이에서도 이제 새로운 얼굴들이 많이 나와서 그것도 되게 기쁘고, 캡콤이 원하는 이제 격투 게임은 어렵기 때문에 새로운 사람들이 많이 들어오기 힘들다라는 점을 첫 대회에서 많이 이제 새로운 얼굴들이 우승하면서 많이 보여줬다 생각해서도 좋고, 실제로 한국에서도 철권 말고도 새로운 얼굴들이 많아져서 굉장히 좋게 보고 있습니다, 저는.
So, although as a fan of the game, I do understand that there may be a lack of content, but as the game in general, as a game in whole, I do enjoy the actual mechanics of the game very much, and I believe it's a very good insight for the new gamers, the new fighting game players as well. The good example of that was in the recent Cannes Winter Clash, where there was a lot of new faces among the pro players as well, and I was really happy to see them perform very well.
That's good to hear. I mean, again, we'll see how it shakes out. I'm sure people will see Evo or Final Round or Capcom come and be like, oh, wait, this game came out? Yeah.
And I think and something similar happened for Smash where, like, after a couple tournaments, after a major tournament happens, people start to flood in even though the game came out before.
You heard it from here. Donka thinks Street Fighter V is like Smash. All right, we have another call for you. This is from AAA. AAA, can you hear us? You're on the air, AAA.
Yeah, how's it going, guys?
It's going good. Go ahead with your question, and I'll ask that you ask it in a succinct manner and then take your answer off the air, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure. So I was going to ask if Infiltration has a definite main he's going to be playing at Final Round, and if he has a main that he's going to be playing, what secondary might he have, like in reserve? Because, you know, Infiltration, like, mains the game, you know?
There you go.
His praise from...
That's a good point. AAA says you main the game. So who's your main and who's your secondary at Final Round?
네, 뭐 이제 게임 자체를 메인으로 삼으시나 하는데 만약에 캐릭터를 뽑으신다면 메인 캐릭터와 그리고 세컨드 캐릭터가 있으신지.
네, 원래 제 장점은 다양한 캐릭터를 써서 이제 재미하고 다양한 상성에 대응하는 거라 생각했는데 게임이 새로 나오면서 좀 아직은 마음에 드는 캐릭터가 많이 없어서 캐릭터 하나에만 조금 집중을 하고 있는 편이에요. 그래서 내쉬를 선택한 거고 이 게임에서 생각보다 장풍을 가진 캐릭터가 그렇게 세지 않다고 생각해서 일부러 내쉬를 선택했어요. 그래도 장풍이 있는 캐릭터를 좋아하기 때문에 아직까진 내쉬를 하겠지만 뭐 알렉스라든가 주리라든가 여러 캐릭터가 나오면은 다 하나씩 만져보고 천천히 포켓 캐릭터를 선택할 생각입니다.
So I truly believe that my strengths were being able to play multiple characters in a high level. The game is the Street Fighter V. The game is quite new, and I haven't had the time to fully explore everyone. But in general, I like characters with fireballs. But I did take note that characters with fireballs are generally weaker than they were from the previous games. So I wanted to prove something that I could probably do well with a fireball character. That's why I picked up Nash as my main. Possibly when the new characters are available for download in the future, I would like to also try them out, but mainly I'll be playing with Nash for the moment.
Well, there you go. So Nash for the moment. Did you hear what the secondary was? I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
He just said he likes to play fireball characters
Gotcha.
in the meantime.
Quick preview here. You were playing against his Nash, although it was laggy. What do you think of his Nash?
I think we'll see in the set to come at the end of the show.
Okay, we have another call for you. Let's line that up here. This call is from Eric. Eric, you're on the air. Your question, please.
Oh, hi. My question was, like, when you're playing ranked matches in Street Fighter V, I noticed that, well, at least me, I reached, like, kind of like a threshold of points that I can't pass through. Like, let's say 2,500 points, I can't go past 2,500 points. What is the best way to, like, pass yourself, like, surpass, you know, that threshold point? And also, to Infiltration was, if you agree that 2 out of 3 ranked matches should be forced rather than optional.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's try that. For the record, before you answer, I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure that they have announced that for ranked modes, you'll have that 2 out of 3 options where you can do a quick rematch.
But it's optional. Both people have to agree to do the rematch.
Gotcha. Okay. So Infiltration, the questions were about how do you surpass a plateau, and how do you feel about best of 3s on ranked matches?
And I think it can be fighting games in general rather than just points.
Sure.
네, 그 질문자의 질문이 이제 게임을 이제 픽업해서 이제 플레이하다 보는데 이제 랭킹에서 하다가 2,500점이라는 부분에서 이제 계속 지고 이기고 해서 거기서 머무른다 합니다. 이제 이러한 플레이어들한테 조언을 해준다면 어떻게 이런 벽을 넘어갈 수 있는지, 그리고 이제 나중에 서비스될 그 랭킹 매치에서 이제 2 out of 3 2선승 할 수 있는 옵션이 주어진다 하는데 그게 무조건 하면 좋을지 아니면은 그냥 옵션으로 남으면 좋을지 그 의견을 부탁합니다.
일단 첫 번째 질문에 관해서는 한국에서도 그런 의견이 많아요. 점수가 뭐 2,000점에서 안 올라간다, 3,000점에서 안 올라간다 하시는 분들이 많은데 게임에 얼마나 많은 시간을 투자하고 프로 선수까지는 아니지만 연구를 많이 하느냐에 따라 다른 것 같아요. 무작정 랭킹 매치를 하는 거, 온라인을 하는 것보다는 트레이닝 모드를 좀 많이 하라고 말해주고 싶어요. 트레이닝 모드에서 모르는 거 하나하나 배워가는 거, 뭐 프레임 데이터 배워가는 거, 그런 거 배우는 거를 좀 재미를 느끼면은 좀 더 실력이 많이 늘어날 거라고 생각합니다. 지금 어떻게 게임하는지 모르겠지만 저는 그걸 추천드리고요. 그 다음에 어떤 질문이었죠?
그 3판 2선 승제를
랭킹.
무조건 집어들지 아니면은 옵션으로 놔둘지.
처음에 방을 만들 때 그 옵션으로 만들면 좋을 것 같은데 무조건 3판 2선을 하는 방을 만들던가 아니면은 그냥 단판으로 만들었을 때는 이제 진 상대방이 요청했을 때 메시지가 뜨도록 그렇게 하면은 뭐 둘 다 해결이 되지 않을까 싶은데 캡콤이 어떻게 해줄지는 저도 잘 몰라서.
네, 알겠습니다.
네.
So the first answer to the first question is I really hope the players actually like have research and study the game in a way that's outside of the game itself. I understand a lot of people are just grinding out training mode, but please invest your time in rankings, but invest your time in training mode, actually go online and look at frame data. And as long as you find enjoyment in that research, I believe it will greatly up your game. Answer to the second question is I'm honestly not too sure, but if they leave it as an optional thing, I don't think there's no reason why you shouldn't always accept the rematch.
Mr. Sexy, I have a question for you, and it's about Final Round. You said on your stream that you're going to be there, right?
Yeah.
And you're bringing a lot of your friends with you, or at least a lot from the people who are pertain to the Asia Capcom Pro Tour. Is that correct?
Correct.
How do you feel? What do you think is going to go down at Final Round? What are your predictions?
Is Asia as strong as America?
Yeah, we've
they
been
typically have
hearing.
been.
So we've had conversations on this show, Mr. Sexy, wherein we talk about what region is better. Z is always in our chat, and he says we're all fools that Korea is going to beat everybody. Your take?
네, 아시아 선수가 미국 선수들보다 강할지 그리고 이제 전체적으로 파이널 라운드에서 어떻게 돌아갈지 그 의견을 부탁합니다.
이번에는 솔직히 말해서 지금까지 아시아 선수들이 대회에서는 많이 입상을 했지만 미국 선수들하고 그렇게 크게 차이 나지는 않는다고 봐요. 그냥 전체적으로 아시아 선수들이 우승을 많이 한 게 결과로 나타나서 그렇지 언제든지 미국 선수가 유럽 선수가 이길 수 있다고 생각하고 그래서 이번에 파이널 라운드가 굉장히 좀 불안하기도 합니다. 개인 선수 이제 저라는 선수 입장에서는요. 미국 선수들은 원체 이렇게 자기들 나라에서 대회도 많고 경험도 많고 또 지금 인구수가 많아서 굉장히 연습량도 많고 잘하기 때문에 일본 선수도 뭐 중국도 한국도 다 미국 선수들을 굉장히 두려워하고 좀 신경을 많이 쓰고 있을 거라고 생각해요. 그래서 기대도 되고요.
So I believe that because the general player base in America is quite large in terms of online and probably offline events as well. And honestly believe that there are really less to no skill gap in between the Asian players and the Western players. The only difference is that because they might have seen a lot of Asian players win tournaments in the past, that might just might have overshadowed the skill level of the American players as well. So honestly, I'm quite nervous and scared at this final round because I know everyone has been grinding, practicing, and I believe there'll be a lot of more probably American and European winners of the tournament in the future.
So you're not confident that you can take this?
자신이 없으십니다.
I don't think so. So many world warriors are coming to final round, but I think it's chance for me because no Daigo, no Lupe, so it's chance.
So you got it because there's no Lupe? Fiasco won't be there?
Just kidding.
So you used World Warrior. That's one term that you hear a lot with these kinds of tournaments. Another term that you hear on occasion is Gatekeeper. How do you feel about that term?
Especially in regards to winning multiple Capcom Pro Tour tournaments in a row.
그 월드 워리어라는
네.
그 용어를 많이 쓰긴 하는데 또 다른 용어 쓰는 게 이제 게이트키퍼. 그러니까 즉 이제 뭐 잘하는
수문장.
선수가 일부러 수문장하는 그런 거에서는 어떤 의견이 있으신지?
그거는 선수가 개인이 이제 판단할 일이기 때문에 뭐 그런 별명이 붙는 건 어쩔 수 없다고 치고 이번 캡콤 프로 투어는 다행히 그런 걸 좀 막기 위해서인지 좀 뭐더라 그 지역별로 나눠놨잖아요. 캡콤 프로 투어 결승이라든가 랭킹 이벤트를. 그래서 무작정 한 선수가 많이 나가는 것도 좀 막으면서 다양한 나라 뭐 남미라든가 북미라든가 유럽, 아시아 전부 나갈 수 있게 기회를 많이 준 것 같아서 캡콤이 고민한 흔적이 굉장히 많이 보여요. 그래서 좋습니다.
The opinions from other people is strictly whatever they think that is in terms of how they think these gatekeepers are in tournaments. So I don't really have any opinions about that. But I'm seeing that Capcom has took a lot of procedures to not stop them, but try to maybe discourage them to come to other events because there's a lot of different systems now in terms of points. Regional, like divided by regional and premier events and things like that, and how the points go down to the winners and things like that. So yeah.
That's good to know. I wasn't going to ask this, but we're getting it a lot in the chat. People want to know if you're still friends with Laugh.
Okay, it's sensitive. Okay. What's your question? I'm sorry.
People are asking what's the story with Laugh, and I assume that the question is...
I believe he's answered this in the past, so just to keep it brief, are you still friends?
You're still friends with Laugh, right?
Okay. Honestly, Laugh and we are not friends anymore. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you for asking me.
I won't ask you any follow-ups, but I'll assume it had 100% to do with Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Moving on. We are going to ask you a couple of questions here. I was doing my research and watching your stream. Mm-hmm. You look like you have a lot of fun streaming. You sing, you play, you talk, you put on funny masks, mysterious masks, some might say. Yes. What does the ability to stream and to have an audience there to enjoy it do for you or mean to you?
I think, okay, I watching Twitch and Korean streaming. Every streaming. Snake Eyes, Justin Wong, every US players and Daigo stream. But for me, there's no fun. So that's why I sing, dancing, playing, shouting. I love fun, and I think I am hilarious guy. Agree?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't need to translate that. Yeah.
So not only are you a hilarious guy, you're also Mr. Sexy. But go on, you were saying about how awesome you are.
I'm sorry, one more.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, tell us more about how awesome you are at streaming.
방송하는데 얼마나 자신감이 있고 또 어떤 식으로 즐기시는지 뭐 그런 거.
일단은 어차피 뭐 제가 방송할 때는 집에 아무도 없기 때문에 너무 트위치라든가 뭐 다른 플랫폼에서 제재를 하지 않는 정도 선에서는 막 이것저것 다 하고 놀려고 해요. 그게 많은 분들이 봐주시는 이유기도 하고 그래야 재밌잖아요. 그냥 멋있게 플레이하는 거는 사실 저 말고도 다른 선수들 다 할 수 있는 거니까 저는 게임은 재밌는 거다. 이렇게 게임을 재밌게 할 수 있는 거고 유쾌한 거다라는 걸 좀 보여주고 싶어서 그러는 것뿐입니다.
So the reasons behind all these acting I do behind the camera while I'm streaming is pretty much I try to do everything as long as I don't get banned from the service. I'll go all out, and I just want to show the audience that gaming is fun, not just playing games and grinding. So I just want to show the fun aspect of playing Street Fighter.
Now, as a follow-up question, is part of the reason you play different characters for fun, or is that purely for strategy?
다른 캐릭터를 사용하시는 게 이제 그냥 재미를 위해서인지 아니면은 그 대회에 쓰려던 작전이 있으신지?
두 개 다죠. 뭐 여러 가지 캐릭터를 보면 재밌기도 하고 또 울트라 스트리트 파이터 4 때는 캐릭터가 너무 많았으니까 다양한 걸 쓰는 재미도 있었는데 5에서는 뭐 당분간은 캐릭터 많이 안 쓸 것 같지만 그래도 더더욱 많은 캐릭터를 쓰려고 노력할 겁니다.
네. So it's a bit of both. Obviously in Ultra there was a lot of characters that had to be explored to find out matchups and things. For the moment, I just want to focus on fewer characters and my main. But yes, mainly it's just a bit of both where it's entertaining and as well as it's good to have a alternate character in the arsenal.
That's good to know. Infiltration. We asked you before the show if you'd be willing to play a set with our boy Donka. You guys already got one in to test the connection, and I won't divulge the results. Other than that, yes, it was slightly laggy, but I won't divulge the result of the actual matches. Are you ready to fight Donka on stream right now?
이제 단카랑
네.
온라인 배틀.
Okay, my body is ready. Come on.
All right, Donka, you're good, buddy. Get over there, and while you wait,
I will walk.
While Mike sets that up, I have another question for you, and that is it true that you got your name from Metal Gear Solid?
Oh yes. Metal Gear
내구
Solid.
솔에서 이름을 따셨는지.
그렇습니다.
Yes, that is true.
That is true. Well, I was hoping you'd give me a longer answer so that Mike can reach over and turn on the PS4, but because it went to sleep. But I think we're going to make that work anyway. Infiltration, do you like playing online, or do you think it's not there yet? Because people saying, GGPO, the internet connection is great, and all these matches are going to, be what we've always wanted them to be. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. GGPO connection is good, better than Street Fighter 4. So I play online very often. Yesterday too, 2 days ago. Every day, every day. I love online matches.
Well, that's good. You have to sign back in. I'm talking to Donka here. You have to get back into. Yeah, there you go. Do that. Would you mind sending us another invite, Infil, so that we can go into the lobby?
Okay, he's ready.
He is ready. He's logging in right now.
As a precursor to this, it's pretty laggy, to be honest. It's a little hard to do combos. It's not going to be the absolute most competitive match, but it's still playable if you've played online fighting games in the past.
So if you put on your lags filter.
If you put on your lag filter, there's a semblance of the game there, and I figured it'd be fun. So this is my dodge of the day.
So you're
If I need to have an excuse every week, my excuse is that Infiltration dodged me by playing in Korea instead of in America.
Okay, I invite you. Check your message, my love.
All right, my love.
Mr. Sexy, what are your predictions? Put a 1 in chat if you think Mr. Sexy will win this. Put a 2 in chat if you think Mr. Donka will win this.
Okay. Let's play. He's ready.
Okay,
it's happening.
ready.
It's happening.
And you have to sing the whole time you're playing.
You're going Vega, right?
I'm going Vega, but it said that, I should hopefully pick Vega. Sometimes the battle lounges lag the wrong character.
Tell me about it. It's all kinds of weird.
There
all right, guys.
we go. There's the boy.
We got a lot of 1s and we got some 2s in here, buddy.
We have some 2s. Sick.
So we have Infiltration playing as Nash versus our boy Donka here in the studio playing as Vega. If you lose, you're going to switch to Fang?
We might see it. Although that's a terrible matchup.
Okay, here we go, guys.
Woo! Oh no, leggy.
Oh yeah, we're getting some rollback.
Sorry guys about that. We're getting a little bit of echo there. I hope we've been able to mitigate that now. Mr. Jack Mayhem says, this doesn't look half bad. Never mind, LOL. People are pointing out Infiltration's white color character. Oh my goodness.
Alright, I'm getting bodied right now. Give me a second here.
Donka, what's happening, bud?
Look, I'm an arcade player.
I think you're getting infiltrated. Uh-oh, we got some. Oh, I was getting excited. I'm watching this and I'm remembering your Vega V reversal tech and then realizing you don't have any meter for it.
Woo! The strategy!
Oh my god, cross
Infiltration's talking shit, man.
69!
Apparently you just got 69 all the way from Korea, dude. You got 420 headshot.
Alright.
That's one.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay,
That's fine.
Good game. I won. Bye-bye.
No, wait.
That's good. We are definitely...
Bye-bye.
Oh my goodness.
Can't remember the last time I lost.
Bye bye.
No, wait, one more. We got to do the rematch.
One. What?
Did you already quit out of it? Oh,
Okay,
man.
one more.
Oh, he's just teasing. There he is. All right, let's do this. Okay,
do
we got
this.
some USA chants in here, Danka. Come on, buddy. We also got some hashtag body bags.
That was definitely hashtag body bag. There's I did make him promise that we would play offline afterwards.
Well, I'll look forward
At
to
final round, hopefully.
to
So I,
hearing
mean,
how
I
that
can at
went.
least get bodied without lag.
Infiltration, are you going to play him in real life when you go to final round?
Yes, why not?
Didn't sound too enthusiastic.
You'll lower yourself?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah?
I salt? I salty?
Are you salty?
I'm very
Yeah,
salty.
salty.
I am extremely salty. I'm
I
like
can't
beyond
believe this.
salty. Like
DJ Salt.
Oh my god.
God. Just kidding.
I'm
Let's
too
go.
salty.
Here it goes. We got your next match coming up, guys. This is Vega, piloted by Danka, versus Infiltration's Nash. Oh boy. Got a lot of salt. We got a lot of salt going on here. Salty sweet match confirmed. Opens up Lay's bag. Oh man. I'm sorry guys, I'm not talking, but I'm getting into this match here. Oh boy. Oh my
It hits on the
God.
screen and then.
Wow.
I don't know how he's this good in the lag. But yet again,
This
I'm
is
just
this is looking it's the lag. It must be the lag. Wow. Okay, okay. Oh boy. It's gonna happen. Oh no. There you go. No P. Z says, look at the movement. Is this infiltration or infiltration bot? Yeah, tell me about it, Bizarro Mike. He is ruining my win-loss ratio.
hit on the screen.
Oh boy, here we go, here we go, here we go. Let's see something. Oh!
Dirty mixer!
Oh my god, the underwater teleport.
Good game.
GG. Do you have anything to say? Okay, wait, guys. There was lag, but we promised our audience that after the match, we talk about what happened, what you were doing, what were some of the things.
Well, I got throw baited a lot. He definitely, I mean, to be fair, I do think part of the throw bait is seeing the range they're in, which is a little bit different when it's online. He's teleporting back and forth. However, it was very clear that he plays in the direction of going for baited throws because a lot of people are used to teching from Street Fighter 4 and games like that.
How do you feel about that, Infiltration? Do you think too many people are still trying to tech throws, or are those just your dirty mix-ups?
잠깐만 뭐라고 했죠?
그
네.
사람들이 일부러 잡기 하는 것을 베이트 하려 하시는지 아니면은 그냥 믹스업 자체가 굉장하신 건지.
믹스업하고 좀 반반이에요. 좀 요즘은 잡기가 이제 느려져가지고 5에서는 좀 어느 정도 보고 때릴 수가 있어서 좀 테크닉 만든 것도 있고 보고 때리는 것도 있어요. 잡는 척하다가.
Yeah, so it's a bit of both. I designed my mix-ups because in this game the throws are slightly slower than Ultra, so it's somewhat visually reactable. So I try to bait them, and the mix-ups are designed based on that.
Okay. Infiltration, this has brought us to the end of our interview with you. Is there anything that we didn't ask you about that you want to mention before we let you go?
인터뷰 마지막인데 이제
네.
마지막으로 하시고 싶은 말씀.
일단 다들 오늘 베스트 오브 3 와주셔서 너무 고맙고요. 항상 이 쇼를 재밌게 보고 있었는데 불러주셔서 일단 고맙습니다. 그리고 와주신 시청자 여러분들도 되게 고맙고요. 제가 영어를 조금은 하지만 많이는 못하기 때문에 오늘 꼭 통역이 필요했는데 도와주신 엑스플릿에서 일하는 버나우님도 감사드립니다. 다음에도 또 불러주시면은 이제 뭐 언제든지 기꺼이 참여하겠습니다. 다들 반가웠고 파이널 라운드에서 만나겠습니다. 고마워요.
So I want to thank everyone who's viewed the show today. I want to thank the Best of 3 staff personally because I watch the show every time and enjoy it very much. And it was my honor to be on the show myself. If you guys want to call me anytime, I'll be there first up and be ready for the interview at any time given. Want to see everyone at final round, and hopefully my English improves better next time.
Infiltration, thank you so much. That means a lot to hear
Obviously, catch his stream.
Obviously, catch your stream. People are asking, Infiltration, will you please say America is free before leaving the interview?
Oh, really? Really? Okay, are you sure?
Say that to my face, dog.
Oh, okay. Not seriously, just kidding, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Really?
말씀하세요.
Okay.
No, you don't have to say.
Okay, I'm ready.
You can say Donka is free if you prefer.
Okay. No. You're strong. America is free. I'm just kidding. Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, good luck in final round this weekend, and we'd love to have you back on, of course.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And now to close out the show, we're going to call Steve back on. We were getting a lot of comments in the chat at the beginning. Are you guys going to talk about Knuckle Dew? I mean, in brief, Knuckle Dew did mention that he was dealing with some difficult times in his life.
Well, he went beyond that. He mentioned that he was about to attempt suicide, and that he came out of it as a result of reaching out of his dogs and of his Team Liquid.
Exactly. And obviously he's not here. We didn't get a comment from him, but I did want to take the opportunity to mention a couple of statistics because I think they're relevant. One being that suicide is the second leading cause of death for 15 to 24-year-olds. The second leading cause of death in the United States. The other is that suicide is 4 times higher among males than females. So we're bringing Steve back on because he wants to talk about this, and I know that you have something you want to say as well.
Yeah, should I wait until now?
Steve, are you here? Steve,
why
don't you go ahead, Steve?
Okay. Obviously it's a shame that it takes something like this to bring the discussion of mental health into the limelight, but this is something that hits home to a lot of us, myself included. I don't know if you follow my Twitter or read my posts on RCAPA, you probably already know this, but depression is something I have struggled with for a very long time. It's something I continue to struggle with on a day-to-day basis. It can be very, very, very tough to deal with. At my lowest points, I have had thoughts of dying, and thank God I didn't make any plans or do anything to act on those. But it can be very, very scary to reach out for help, to reach out to someone to say, hey, I can't handle this on my own. If you're feeling like that, please do so. I know it's scary. I know firsthand how scary it is to try to say that you need help. But if you can get over that fear, the relief you find is so worth it in the end. Reaching out to someone changed my life. And it's not a fix, because for me, depression is like alcoholism, You're never cured, you just continue in recovery. If you have there are free resources, there are low-cost resources through school, through work. Please do not be afraid to reach out to someone professionally or to a friend, because there's more people that care about you than you think.
That's absolutely right. And Steve, I want to thank you for when this news came out, it sparked a conversation. Ironically and very tragically, we were already talking about this before Knuckle Dew.
Yes. As someone who does not deal with depression, it can affect you in ways you would not expect. Unfortunately, last week, before what happened about Knuckle Dew came out, a member of the fighting game community and one of my absolute best friends in the world died as a result of depression. And his name was Austin Weedman, better known by Oggs. He was a member of the Houston Smash and fighting game community. He was big part in starting Smash United, and before that, the Houston Smash Dojo. a Kirby player, my first friend in the state of Texas after moving here, and absolutely one of the best guys I've ever met. This dude had the ability to be extremely loud, extremely, hilarious, and yet still always super nice and always open to listen to opinions. His mother was kind enough to allow us to use a picture and talk about him, and there will actually be a scholarship, OGS FTW, set up in his honor towards students who are looking to, go further in their educational career as well as pursue esports, which was his passion. So yes, Austin Weedman, one of my dearest friends, unfortunately has passed away. And anybody who lives in Texas, please go to Battlegrounds. It's a tournament in Houston coming up at the same time as final round. So if you play Smash, please be there, honor him. Absolutely one of the best guys I ever met.
Thank you guys for watching the show, and we'll see you here next week.